not in Clarinda's watershed, I believe. We're in Glenwood's.
Or Glenwood.
Glenwood, yeah. There's actually two projects going on over there. There's a new landfill and then a private one at like Pony Creek, I believe it
Yeah.
is.
And that's what
Or Cave Creek, whatever.
they're buying them all up, he said.
Yeah. So we should be setting really well. It's just playing a waiting game right now, and I don't know how this affects what we owe secondary roads. I mean, we're not gonna have the money by July 1st in the fiscal year, so I don't know. Okay.
Eventually get there, right?
Yep. No, it'll just come in as a receipt, so.
Okay, all right.
Okay. One thing I gotta continue to try to find information from other counties on what they're doing with their hazardous pipeline ordinance. I've received a couple copies from a couple counties, and I pass it on to Marcus. The template is about the same, but just seeing some of the individual changes the counties have made and things that are addressed, and I know one of the areas we're looking at is setbacks. So, and see how other counties are doing that, so.
Have you heard from any landowners themselves at all?
As far as,
Are they negotiating with them? Are they,
I
have we
just,
had many people sign here in Shelby County?
well, not, I haven't seen that lately. I mean, remember our last meeting, I think our county was at 28%,
Yeah.
so.
Which is higher than I would expected even, actually, but.
Somebody asked me if we had any windmills in the county. I said no.
No,
Well, are you keeping them up? I said no.
no. We don't have a main transmission line. That's
Right.
the reason they don't look at us. Now with technology down the road, maybe that'll look different, but remember I said we're bringing, our goal by the 1st of August is to have, Tony's working on a windmill ordinance update, solar farm update, so whenever those time come, and this hazardous pipeline.
That's a good idea.
So we'll tackle all them, and Marcus is working on that. When Marcus gets the draft done with the hazardous pipeline, then Tony was zoning, EMA was safety, Brandon secondary roads will be getting a draft of that, and then come back with some, if there's any more recommendations for change before we bring it to our board for a hearing and approval. Okay. Okay. Next on the agenda is mileage reimbursement rate. The IRS has recommended change in their mileage reimbursement for mileage. It presently is at 58.5 cents, and at July 1 they're going to 62.5 cents. That's what we have done in the past, is accepted their rates, and so you guys okay with doing that again?
Yeah, I make
Yeah.
a motion to approve that.
Second.
Motion by Darren, second by Charlie. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Good morning, Mr. Todd Lean.
Good morning.
Chamber update.
New hot seat for you.
The new hot seat, yeah, I kind of like this setup. This is good. So today we have our last board meeting of the fiscal year as we come screeching sideways into the end of the fiscal year with everything going on. But so that means is then next month, July 19th, which is the third Tuesday at 11:30, is when we'll have our all members meeting over at the Turkleson Center. And so what that encompasses is, of course, we invite all the chamber members to send a representative to attend the meeting. We review the past fiscal year and talk about projects and plans for the next fiscal year, give a report on financials and that type of thing. So again, that's July 19th at 11:30. A couple of recent opportunities I've had was over in Atlantic. We had the Western Iowa Tourism Group get together. Some interesting things came out of that, including the fact that it looks like our average traveler age is creeping up a little bit. It's creeping up to 55. So that just comes into play when we're thinking about events that we're planning around here, things that we're doing to try to attract people here. That we're leaning on that little bit of a older side of people coming through, so we'll want to try to gear things towards them. One of the positives that also came out of that meeting is there are new support programs for conferences, events, so like the gas and steam engine show, things like that. Even county fairs will qualify for this. And it's just money to help you with hard costs and with promoting your event.
Every time.
The nice thing about it is, it doesn't have to just only be new events. It can be things that exist now. The twist they put on the things that exist now is you have to add some type of a tourism outlet to what you're doing. So as an example, take the county fair. If we were gonna use the county fair and they wanted to apply for some of this money to help them promote the county fair, maybe they would set up a day where you can jump on a bus and go to Lonely Oak and get a tour, or, you know, or go to the John Deere collectible display or something, you know, along those lines. You have to add something like that to it if you're already an existing event. If you're a new event, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to be sending this out to all of our event coordinators as well as to other people who I know are maybe thinking about putting something together, and let them know that this money's out there and available to them.
Where's this coming from?
This is coming again through IEDA, and applicants can receive up to $25,000. Now again, it's just like what we do with hotel motel. It's a reimbursable grant. So you spend the money, you get approved to use the money, then you spend the money, and then you send your bills in and they reimburse you for it. But it's new. Again, one of those things of who knows how long we'll have this program around. But tourism is becoming a real focus for IEDA. They're just seeing how much money is coming through the state of Iowa. The staycations have really cranked up. People coming to the state and going, you know, spending 3 or 4 days going to some of the attractions around here and then heading back home. So they're doing everything they can do to support that.
So is this something that, how soon would they have to spend the money? Like Shelby County, would they be able to apply for next year's fair, or?
No.
So they really, because they're already into this year's?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's why we gotta hope that this carries forward.
Okay.
The events for this particular program that is announced right now have to take place between May 1st and December 31st.
Okay.
So, and then, and again though, it can be, like if we have a group here in town that's having a business meeting, and they're attracting people from outside the state to come into this business meeting, they can apply for some support to do that. We don't have a lot of trade shows or conventions around here, but those also work. And again, you know, exhibitions, even if somebody decided, you know, they wanted to put together like a late fall sporting event, like have some type of a youth sporting event, where we're bringing kids in from around the state to, they could apply for some funds for this to help put that together. So it's nice to have. I hope it sticks around year to year, because it's really beneficial, and it really enhances our already hotel motel to be able to do it, because this expands the way that you can spend the money versus, you know, hotel motel, we're a little bit narrower on how you can spend the money. This expands how they can use the money for hard costs and a few other things. Outside of that, also was in Dubuque last week for ABI's conference, and all of the focus of that conference was on how to attract workforce to your area. And it wasn't just the rural areas, it was metros too. So I'm hoping to see a few more programs in the second half of the year to support workforce recruitment. And so what we'll be doing, we'll be discussing ways that we as a chamber can support that in the next fiscal year at our meeting today. Things that we can look, where we can either enhance or add to some of these other programs that may be coming out for attraction purposes. Because as we know, that's just that ongoing battle of trying to get enough people here and hopefully living here to fill all the jobs that we have available. So that's where we are.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda is consideration of engagement letter for auditing firm for our financials. We've been using Grunwald in the past. It's formality to engage them. Mark, where are we at with our contract with them?
Great question. I think this might be the last year of a 3-year.
Okay,
I'll check on that and
okay.
find out. Because the prices were all set a couple of years ago, which
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
But what this does is authorizes me to sign it, just an engagement letter that they'll conduct
Proceed.
their audit and everything we've been doing, and it spells out all the details of what they're gonna do for us and how they submit it to the auditor of the state.
So we have a 3-year contract,
That's what I was thinking.
but we have to sign it every year.
We're authorizing
Engage
him
it
to
every
sign
year.
the papers
Yeah.
for it.
As required by our profession, we are providing you with a letter of understanding regarding our continuing agreement to provide you with services.
Okay.
That should pretty much,
They do a good job.
yeah. They're very professional when they get here and how they do it and conduct themselves, and every year.
And they're helpful too
I
when we
hear
reach out
stories
to
about
them.
the state auditors, and every year they bring up surprises for us and look at different things and how we're conducting business.
What does that cost us a year?
I want to say about 35,000.
And they're there for if we need professional help as the
Oh,
years
he's-
go on.
He's
They're very
helped
helpful.
with budgeting questions at budget time and
Yeah,
fixing things.
yeah, it's not just doing the audit.
Right.
And I think a lot of that stuff is pro bono. It's not included in their contract.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
You like the motion?
Motion by Charlie, second by Darren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Disposal of county cars. We have 2 vehicles that community service use, and 2020 Equinox and a 2020 Malibu. Community service now is covered by the region, and they do not need, in Pot County, and they do not need these vehicles. We own the Equinox with Tri-County, which is Shelby County, Monona County, Harrison County.
Correct.
And Mark has reached out to them how they'd like to dispose of these. What's your response?
You say we own both cars with them?
No, one.
Just one,
Just the Equinox.
Monona County is interested in purchasing the vehicle,
Okay.
and so are we.
Yep.
And Harrison County is not interested. So I took it upon myself to have Harrison County, and they agreed if we wanted to do a sealed
They
bid,
did.
we'd send them to Harrison County, they'd open up the bids, and Harrison County is about 40% of the ownership, because this is all on population. Harrison County's 40%, we're 33%, and Monona County is the balance. And so the proceeds from that car would come back, of that Equinox, would come back to Shelby County in those proportions, and the other 2 counties.
And then the Malibu, we own.
That's up to the supervisors
Right.
to dispose of.
And so, I'll see what you guys think, but my thought was we would send a note, have you send a notice out to all the departments, see if anybody is interested.
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yep. I know I think one department had some interest. If they have some interest in, put a price on it. And if we have no interest there, then we would probably look at advertising it. But if we could help any of our departments, I think that would be the way
And
to go.
you sent out an ADA book on what the value of them is, or
The
Kelly
Equinox,
Blue book, on either, both of them, I would say.
I haven't looked at
They-
the other one.
We probably need to, if you're gonna send that info out to the department heads, they probably need to know what they're worth,
Yeah.
so that they don't overbid on something.
Okay.
Because the Equinox, I just looked online at the prices, and they're selling for more than what we paid for it. Amazing.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hear that's backing up a little bit, but who knows, it depends on how.
Yeah.
how-
And we get a bid on it, so it'll all come out.
Yeah. And then also, let the departments know if anybody's interested in putting a bid in and what the deadline is, so it'd be best if they could give the bid to you, Mark, and then you forward it off to Harrison County, don't you think, or what's your thought process?
I can do that.
Okay, you guys are good with that?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
And what are we gonna do if nobody's interested then?
Then we'll advertise it locally. The car, you mean?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
But if somebody is interested in our department, so we'll go there
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion on this to proceed
So moved.
with the
Second.
bid process? Clarification, just so we're on the same page. If any of the departments are interested, they will submit a bid, and then we'll either accept it or not.
Yeah. In case there's two or,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they will submit it directly to Harrison County or to
No,
us
I'm
first?
talking the car.
Okay,
The one has to go to Harrison County.
Okay.
I'm talking on the car.
Yeah.
but do we wanna review what whatever department head, if they want the Equinox, the one that's Equinox,
There's
We
only
want-
one
do we want
department
that-
has expressed interest in that
do
Equinox.
we wanna see that before we allow them to send it to Harrison County, or
I
no?
don't have to,
Mm.
because then it really isn't a sealed bid. It's,
Well, yeah, it is, I mean, the other county isn't seeing it.
true, but what advantage is that gonna be to us?
Well, I just, like, again, I don't wanna have a department head bid too much on a vehicle that,
Oh,
see what I'm saying?
yeah,
I mean, if you trust them to do the right thing, that's,
Yeah, I do.
okay.
I do.
I mean, they're the ones that have, they're gonna have to answer for it in their
Yeah, in
budget.
their budget, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's unplanned spending, so
Yeah.
they'll have to make their budget work.
Okay, so do I have a motion on that?
Yeah, you
I
had a
think you did
motion,
that, didn't you?
second.
So,
Motion, second?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Secondary roads report. Morning, Brandon.
Good morning. Item on the agenda, Abada Valley REC put in a utility permit from M36, or M36 and Maple, just north of town. They're gonna go east along M36 from Maple to Oak in the north ditch. Plowing in there, boring all culverts. Talked to Kurt with REC, he's been very, very good to work with on that. They're gonna cross the road and they'll bore the road crossings too. I have a certificate of insurance from them, and they're working on getting a bid bond, or a right-of-way bond for working in the right-of-way. He is working through that, expects to get it here in the next couple days probably. So my recommendation would be to approve this permit with the caveat that we have the bond in hand prior to commencement of any work by REC.
what are they, how much are they trying to get underground? Just major?
This whole stretch, it's a mile stretch that they're gonna do
I mean, are they,
from Maple to Oak.
okay,
There's no line there currently. This is supplying power to that,
oh, there's no
Subs-
overhead line or anything right now that they're replacing, this is just, okay.
no, they're
this
just
is
going
new.
from an overhead buried to
Okay.
another overhead. This is gonna supply power to the little substation that Dairy built with Northern Natural Gas
Okay.
at the corner of Oak Road and I think that's Orange Road.
I thought they were trying to get some of the overhead stuff underground is what they were,
They haven't approached me about that yet, but
Okay.
I think they've been working on some of it, and that's their plan for the future too, so.
There's no private easements involved.
No.
It's all on the road right
All
away.
on the road right away. There was one around a drop inlet, and he was gonna maybe talk to a landowner and see if he could go around the drop inlet on private easement. But there'll be an agreement there I can talk to him. And
Yeah,
if there's agreement done, we can have that in hand too.
Okay.
Otherwise, it'll be bored underneath.
Yeah, because that's one of our requirements
Yeah.
now,
Yes, it is.
so. Okay. Guys have any other questions on, have a motion to approve the utility permit? Art and Brandon, you're making that recommendation to approve it? They've
Yes.
met all the qualifications?
Yes.
Okay.
Make the motion.
Motion by Charlie, second by Darren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank
Okay.
you. And then, brief update, F-58 in Elkhorn is done. When you were on it, it had not been painted yet.
Hadn't started, yep.
Okay. I think they're just waiting on paint, so. Not a good day today with the tractor ride through there, but should be by the end of the week, they'll have that painted. Slurry leveling, M47 north of Irwin is finished, F24 east of Irwin is finished. And then they're working on F58, M16, and F32. They've actually got 3 different crews here right now. They threw all their crews at it to get it done as quick as they could, so. And then they're doing several bridge approaches. If you approach those, it has a stop sign up and says, please alternate. It's approved traffic control for as low volume as we have on our roads, so. Just ask people to be patient with those. They should be done here today or tomorrow with those, so. And they ride so much nicer than they did when they're slurried, so. F24 project, gonna get that submitted hopefully today or tomorrow. Waiting for Irwin's estimate from Sunquist, and then we'll get that submitted. Check plans aren't due till the 3rd Tuesday in July, but we're getting them in early now, so. If they have any issues with them, we'll get them corrected and have it in the November letting. So, guys are pulling in F16 up there, should be done east of M47 this week, I would think. And they're rocking it with rock from Denison, so it's working out really well. Had a crew in from Denco, the same company who's doing the slurry leveling, but we had a pipe that was failing on F24, right west of Redwood. It's about a mile west of Irwin. And they came in and sleeved it instead of having to replace it. This is a 2-day project. It's expensive to do on something you could afford to dig up, but this pipe is 170 foot long and has 20 foot of cover over the top of it. So you'd probably have to remove about 100 feet of highway to get the
Is that
bank
one that was in the
slowed down.
claims already this month?
I don't
You wouldn't
believe so.
have paid, you wouldn't have paid for it yet?
No.
Okay.
No. But they got it sleeved. We had to have a maintainer or an excavator there to push the sleeve in, but I was kind of judging on how much time it would take, and when I got up there, they were already had it pushed in, so I think it took about 20 minutes, and then they ground it in place, and you're good to go.
For another how long?
Probably 50, 60 years. So, yeah, it was $33,000, so it's expensive to do on a regular culvert, but on this, where it would be closed for 3 weeks and then replacing the pavement would
I was
be
gonna say with a hard surface road.
right. So it's a very good
Glad
option
that's
there.
available.
Yep. And then the other excavators, he's doing a pipe replacement and ditching on 400 west of Elmwood right now, so.
Okay.
That's
Now, wait a minute, you said 30-some thousand and it took him 20 minutes? What's that to figure out?
Well, they got to ground it in place, and actually they had to buy 170 feet of the liner, which is
Okay.
$90 a foot, so it adds up quick. No, I'd much rather have them do 20 minutes on that than
Yeah, I agree.
dig it
Than
up and
have to
take
fight
several
it, yeah.
weeks and put the highway back just so they can break it up and resurface it, so.
Have you tried any of the PVC culverts yet?
We have, what do we have, 2 entrances in so far that are PVC. A learning curve for sure, but I haven't heard any complaints from people on them, so. The weird thing is it comes with a bucket of grease and you gotta grease the joint to get them to go together.
Oh, really?
So you get a Ziploc bag of grease. When you get them and you gotta grease the joint, but no, I haven't heard any complaints on them.
Must be a tight seal then.
Yeah, I know there's a driveway in the middle of the project, that's completely plug tight, so we're gonna try to put one in too here, so. Yeah, but no, I haven't heard anything. negative.
I got one out, it's a 2-footer out in my field at a creek crossing. It's been there for 20,
PVC
25
one?
years, yeah.
Well,
When they first come out, or if they had no problems with it. So. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Brandon.
Next on the agenda is 2022-23 upcoming budget, but Mark's got some
Yeah, the
discussion.
budget hasn't even, we're not making any entries yet, but I want to warn the supervisors of what's coming up. Conservation credits, they're gonna have to be spent. And when we need to budget for those expenditures. So we just will figure out what we're gonna have coming in, if we can guess, and what they're gonna be spent and get it budgeted, because you have to make your amendment. You have to have those dollars budgeted before you spend it. So we have to make an estimate on how many credits we're gonna get this year. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And get that put into a budget amendment.
Okay.
We don't have to, there's no hurry on any of this, but July, set the date in July and have the hearing for the amendment in August would be great. The bond on
It would
the
just be the revenues though, right? Not the expenditures?
expenditures.
The
The
expenditures.
revenues, they don't look very hard at. They don't care how much you make. It's how much you're gonna put out is what their biggest focus is.
I don't know if they've even decided, well, I don't know where some of it's going. They're,
Yeah,
Well,
I know.
you know what percentage you could acquire, so you could just put that, even though it's
See,
revenue.
because
it could
last
be
year's
expenses.
budget, we're already gonna get wrote up because we had to write Erling a check for 25% for expenditures, and also oversight on my part, just what we're paying to have the project done.
Right.
Wasn't budgeted.
okay.
It needs to be.
Okay.
And we need to get on top of it.
Alright.
The bond at EMA, that was a joint trip by EMA and myself, expending that money for all the bond payments. We haven't made any, we made a $10,000 payment, but the radio bill's in and we gotta get that paid for. So
Okay.
we need that. That comes out of the capital fund, the county capital fund, not EMA dollars. And that's where we work together on the thing. And so we need to get that amended so we can pay for them radios. ARPA funds, they're paid for from the supervisors department. I've got $700,000 in there. When I was putting the budget together, it should probably be like 1.5 million or something like that. So if everybody happens to turn their dollars in, you'd have it allowed for. It wouldn't come from tax dollars,
Right.
but it's allowed. And then environmental health for the wells, not the ARPA expenditures, but the wells themselves. Because we're doing so many more wells now, environmental health expenses have went up. And so we have to allow for that. And when we budgeted last December, we didn't
So
know,
that won't show
we didn't
under
know we
ARPA.
were gonna expand it.
Yeah.
And we blew that budget up this year. It was, she had like $90,000 in expenses and it's 120 this year.
So with all these, we have the money there, it's just allowing us to spend it.
Yeah, the only tax dollars that I can see with expenditures is this last one, is the jail. They've had a big turnover in help and insurance costs, health insurance costs and benefits have went up. Because, and Kyle budgeted the same amount because insurance didn't go up, but people have different plans now with the open enrollment and everything. And he's gonna have to adjust for about $25,000, and that's about the only actual tax dollars, property tax dollars that we're talking about in this. And we just will be proactive and do it now rather than wait till next spring.
So you're saying those ARPA dollars, the revenues, they go into the supervisor's budget?
I mean,
but-
I'll adjust those too.
Yeah, I understand. But then the wells that we're capping, those have to come out of her expenses.
No,
They should.
there's ARPA, the ARPA fund pays for what we reimburse the landowner for.
Okay.
she still has some
Gotcha.
core expenses
Sure, okay.
in capping that
Okay.
comes from environmental health, who no longer has an income. And
Okay.
she's doing her best to stay on top of that budget, and it's hard to do. They received, she's receiving some funding. I believe all of her wages now are coming out of the general fund, not environmental health. It used to be take care of itself. And also, Rural Basic has contributed to her department just to keep it afloat, because most of her work is in the unincorporated areas of the county. So,
Sort of creating a lot more work, isn't it?
yeah, it's created a higher expense for everybody without the income that she used to have. No fault of her own. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. I'll set up, you guys can set up a hearing at one of the meetings in July, and then we'll have the hearing in August and get a bunch of this stuff written down in writing.
But it needs to be done right away. I mean, this is basically a budget amendment.
Yeah.
We can't wait until, I mean, because we know there's
We
gonna be other
could,
changes down the
We
road.
could, but not like the ARPA. What if you get a bunch in October?
Yeah, you're
We can't
supposed to be
reimburse.
amended before you
we-
spend it.
Yep.
Yeah, and we
Okay.
can't reimburse these people legally
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, understand.
until we get the money put in there.
Yep. Okay. Anything else on that, on the budget?
No, it was just a notification for you guys.
Okay.
And a public explanation of what's going on. Because it's unusual to have one this early.
You're right.
Yeah,
And
right.
I've heard of other counties, they amend for similar reasons before the budget year even starts. It happens.
Well, these things came up,
Yep.
so. Are you guys still good with annually, we do a walkthrough of all our facilities, take part of a day, and
I am.
we tentatively planned it for today. You guys still up for that?
Kinda hot.
Not as bad as yesterday.
You can move it to a different day.
No,
It's
I'm
entirely up to
kidding,
you
I'm kidding,
guys.
let's get her done.
So we're gonna recess, and go on our walkthrough with the county building. So with that, thanks everybody for participating. We'll be recessed till we get done with that. Thank you.